This is not on the official program, but Kevin will be a combination of MMA, sumo, but there will be kind of a ritual combat setting.
Jeremy actually is planning to spend some time sweating in a loincloth. You guys can DM him. He loves you, but watch your ass.
Oh, David is really available. I can just tail him around and tell him how good he looks, which is what I did last conference.
You're working on me, Jeremy.
I think maybe it's too much. It's too much pull, right? I'm just constantly telling him how good he looks. I'm like, oh, David, I don't know. Did you sleep all right?
He's trying to connect with you spiritually. It's a
that wasn't.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Tom Woods School of Life Weekly Update. I'm Kevin Dolan, Community Director here at Exit, joined here by Barbara Williams, Jeremy Evans, and David Moore, who are facilitators in the group. Want to talk about the Orlando meetup that we've got coming up this weekend. Last year was great. We're really excited to be there. And I want to start with maybe like some expectation setting of like what you found really cool about Orlando last year. David and Jeremy were there. We'd like to hear about interesting people you met, kind of your favorite part of the show, so to speak. So, David, why don't you start us off? Tell us about your favorite experience from Orlando.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm thinking forward because I always think forward. What I'm excited about this time that I didn't have last time is I know so many more people this time by virtue of the accountability groups. And I had made some introductions prior to last year, but mostly new faces and new friendships that were formed. But I still was able to have some one-on-ones to set up some follow-up conversations with people that I met. And this time around, I'm actually looking forward to leaving a little bit of space in my calendar for some of those serendipitous meetings. I do have a few meals scheduled, meetups scheduled, but I have a little bit of slack in my calendar so that I can have some of those got-a-minute meetings that tend to occur at these things. And I had a few of those last time for sure, but I have more this year just by virtue of the having been in the group for a bit longer and having been a facilitator. But yeah, I'm excited for what's ahead. I'm excited for we talked a little bit about prior to this call about each of our conferencing scheduling strategies. So I'm curious how everyone talks about their conferencing scheduling strategies, but I like to leave a little slack in the line. And last time maybe had too much slack because I didn't know people, but this time I'll have a less.
Excellent. Jeremy, what was your experience like in Orlando last year? I feel like you knew more people at the time.
I think that I did meet everybody, and I remember probably about 2/3 afterwards, forever after, which means when I see these people in a couple of our collective calls at the beginning, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that person in David's group and Barbara's group. That's a lot of fun. And it's also interesting when you meet people in person, it's much easier to get to the root of people's dreams and ambitions, which is something that requires a little bit more work on the phone or on Zoom. It's probably easier on Zoom. I'm guilty of using the phone too often for one-on-ones because I'm an old-fashioned sales guy. I'm used to using the phone all the time, right? You try to tell me I'm going to show my face. Look at me. I haven't shaved in 3 days, right? So it's really valuable for that because fundamentally, I think that what I want, and I think what Tom wants, if I may infer, is we're trying to serve people. Trying to serve the people that are closest to us. These are people who love Tom Woods and love libertarianism, and they have actively said, yes, I want a better life. And my question is perennially, what can I do to get these people to where they want? I don't know what a better life is. They do. The very first step is knowing what people's hopes, dreams, and ambitions are. And I may never talk to them again, but just getting a touching glance of somebody is such a beautiful thing. I feed on that kind of energy. In regards to friends, 50% of the people attending the live event, which is no small number, are from the accountability groups. That was not the case last time. So, we have small celebrity within the groups in that we interface with a lot of people. Each other a lot better this time around. I view that as my primary role, is connecting people with like interests. And I've got the middle Rolodex. I'm not sure if we haven't capped out on Dunbar's number here. So I really knew everyone that I knew and what they did and what they were interested in and where they were going. A lot of those people stuck with those groups the entire conference. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I think people have different styles, but my goal is to meet everybody. I really want to understand the audience that we're serving. I want to do better. I want to have an ear on the ground so I can go to Tom and I can say, hey, I talked to 30 people who want this. I talked to 50 people who said, this wasn't that great, whatever it was, and be able to refine the offering from there. I mean, that's, there's no better opportunity for market research.
Yeah. Guys, just FYI, I'm having some connection problems, and I don't know if, well, we're just going to see how useful this recording session is. But I am really excited to meet the networks that you guys have built, because I'm not a facilitator on a call, and this time to have you all to sort of make introductions, and I kind of feel like I'm one of the little parasocial relationships that you guys have, where you guys can introduce me to some interesting people. I'm excited for that.
You're each of our plus ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cute.
But I have definitely found it to be the case that the in-person meetups in my group, I mean, that's where the magic happens. That's Zoom, I think, is great, but people, like, when you're on a Zoom, you are it's a much more like directed conversation, and like you sort of wait your turn to talk and you talk about the thing that you're supposed to talk about. And I think in these in-person meetups, it's just so much opportunity for serendipity and just opening the aperture a little bit. I mean, in my experience, I certainly hope that, like, I hear what you're saying about mingling with everybody, but like, I think that there's also tremendous value. Like you were saying, people have different strategies. Like if somebody comes to the conference and they find somebody that they're like really on a wavelength with, and they spend the entire day like at the snack table just mind melding with this person, I think that's an outstanding use of the weekend. Yep. So yeah, lots of good opportunities. What about you, Barbara? What are you kind of looking forward to from this weekend?
Yeah, I'm excited to meet even you guys. I haven't met any of you guys. I have met Tom once at an event, but other than that, it's weird to work with you guys for as long as we have and never having met you. So that'll be really fun. I couldn't agree more about the in-person interaction is really important. All of my closest friends right now, actually, I met originally online and then met at a meetup. And that's where the magic happens. And then unfortunately, they're all over the country, so it's hard for me to see them. So that's the only frustrating bit. But I think that, that in-person connection, meeting people, the real magic happens there. And I'm also glad that we have some accountability group experience. So a lot of these people will be familiar. I'm actually getting all of my accountability group people who are going together for a meetup earlier on Friday, so that we all get to meet each other in person. And that's going to help, I think, even with like anxiety, like social anxiety, walking into the big event where it's a lot more people, we'll all at least know each other, not only from our histories, but also then just meeting together for a couple hours before. So I'm excited for that. And Kevin, you should stop by and meet them then. I think, David, you're having a similar meeting, right?
Mm-hmm. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm meeting a handful of my group's guys for lunch, but other than that, I think if there is some open invitations, I'd love to bounce around. I think that's
for sure.
a great use of the day. Having opportunities to meet together in more intimate settings and in smaller groups, I think is really great. And we see a lot of that, like, sort of happening spontaneously in the group. People who connect in the groups, they realize they live close and they just get together and barbecue or something. I think that's fantastic. And there's so much, even just from like the brass tacks, like entrepreneurial development, business networking side of this. So much of the friction of collaboration is just trust and vibes, and how do I really feel about this person, and that kind of thing. And so much of that work can be done at an in-person event, and I think it does have to do with the sort of spontaneous, we're just going to go wherever the conversation takes us, and people's genuine inclinations and interests emerge, and you find areas of connection that you maybe weren't expecting. It's fantastic.
Well, I think Jeremy even described it, almost this particular event, as being on easy mode, because we already know we have very similar values. Like that part's already taken care of. So we know that, like, we can talk about our common interests more freely without thinking that we're going to have some crazy political disagreement, that comes out a little bit later. So I think, it's almost like connections are served to you a little bit more on a silver platter in a moment like this, because again, we all have this common love of freedom, basically, to put it broadly.
And you can understand a person's ambitions more easily. You're not having to construct a model of a space alien, a mind that makes no sense to you.
Right.
And it's a little bit easier to kind of predict where somebody's gonna land and what they want, and where they're headed.
Yeah, I also like Barbara told us that she's actually at a conference this week already.
Yeah,
so I think that's a great strategy, is to actually go to a conference before the conference to kind of loosen up the muscles, and
they just stack those together,
warm up the handshake. Right? Where you kind of, it's like catching a car as it's moving, right? So you just conference right in. Yeah.
I was pre-gaming conference, guys.
So if you can come from another conference to a conference, you're in the zone. I think it's great. No, I really do mean that, but I didn't think of it. So well done, Barbara.
I was gonna say, or you're a weirdo, but that's fine. That's also fine.
Well, many people for work are going to conferences constantly. I have a guy who attended last year who was also in one of my groups now. He's a coin dealer. Most coin dealers generate most of their business through going to events and conferences, et cetera, about coin dealing and bullion, et cetera. You see a different side of people in person. Liam, here I am. David, rather, mentioned a touching moment in which somebody tried to pull me away from the gym. Now, I view this as work, but I'm traveling. I'm in Florida. I'm staying in a nice hotel. Tom picks a nice hotel. It's affordable, but it's also very nice, and they have a very nice gym. Vacation means going to the gym multiple times a day. Everyone knows that. It means going to the gym and then eating in excess and gaining 5 pounds of muscle. That's exactly how God intended vacations. And if somebody says, "Hey, I want to have a business lunch with you," and that means I fast all day and I want to go to the gym. If you're going to take that away from me, it better be for a really good reason. And I said that in no uncertain terms. That's perhaps a rather cold side of me that nobody has seen in the entrepreneurial groups. I'm not really cutting people out or saying, "Oh, I can't do that." I think on the flip side here is when I talk with anybody in person, and this is an unusual habit and or skill of mine, but I really enjoy going into in a crowd, talking one-on-one with somebody and bringing them to a completely empty space where it's just the two of us. And I'm listening with the full intent, and things change. Things change really rapidly, and you can get right to the heart of a person, which is beautiful. I cherish those connections. I think about them as I fall asleep at night. I think, God, I hope that person is doing well. I'm so grateful to have met them and understood them. Everybody is like this. And knowing somebody from the accountability groups to some extent is one face of the personality. People try to restrict what they're talking about generally to the entrepreneurial endeavors that they're involved with. Oftentimes, it's not even their actual full-time job that you're hearing about. And you're rarely hearing about their family or their leisure activities and things like this. You're not necessarily joking.
Which often, it opens up whole new dimensions of things you could do together, and things that they might be good at that they don't even know they're good at, that you could explore with them. And it's really cool. So what I'm hearing from Jeremy is he loves you, but watch your ass. Like,
if you're trying to keep me from the gym.
Or
Right.
yeah, go work out with him. That's the other thing.
And that's correct. One of my best friends I made from the last conference is a guy who was a +1. He was not a member of the group. He did sign up afterwards. Tom, take note. We met in the gym and we discussed our divergent weightlifting strategies. Right. I have the exact opposite approach of him. And I said, well, results don't lie, man. Look at your biceps. He gives me a good flex. He's a competitive guy, meaning that he goes to bodybuilding competitions and things like this. It was a beautiful, beautiful friendship. And for example, that's a really good way to get to know me. I think that's an overly specific application here, but you can find those kinds of overlaps in hobbies, right? Weightlifting is a hobby for me. I mean, it's kind of a necessity for health, but I don't talk about it because why would I? It has no basis in any of the interactions I have with people in Tom's School of Life, but it's a really important part of my life. We uncover those things as well as like personality compatibility. Again, if a lot of people you don't have the time typically in a call to be joking around and being a little bit frivolous. And if you discover, wow, I really get along with this person, even if we don't necessarily have business skills that overlap, I would love to find a way to work with them. That's often more important than actual tangible skills. It's the ability to be able to grow into a relationship and find mutually beneficial roles. So yes, there are business opportunities. Yes, there are friendship opportunities. I think more than anything, you get to see a deep dive and or a broad spectrum of all of the people who identify themselves as libertarians who also like Tom Woods. And they're not as academic and socially awkward as you might imagine from the libertarian stereotypes.
Mostly.
Tom somehow has a magical ability to attract just the very best. So it is magical. I didn't hype it enough in my groups. I regret this. Barbara is such a good saleswoman for the live event. I'm going to be so envious if she's got 20, 30 people showing up.
That phrase has never been said about me in my life, but I appreciate it, Jeremy.
Yeah, but it is. I fully endorse it. If you're seeing this, it's probably too late. But we'll edit this and get it out while it's still topical. But it's magical, and Tom does this every 6 months, maybe, hopefully. And I thought
it was the only event of the year.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so, but we'll have to see. I don't know if we make enough demand from the market, and hopefully if this pays for itself, right? That's the other end of it, right? It's just kind of an expensive thing. It's a very generous thing that Tom is doing, but I think it's extremely valuable.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
We're consulting with an event planner for another event, and it's a lot. It's incredible how much effort and how much money goes into a thing like this. So it's really a heck of a thing to just sort of bundle this in with the whole service. And also one of the things that this event planner has told me about an event like this is that one of the challenges is, how do you take the good juice, the good energy, the good desire to collaborate that always spontaneously emerges from these conferences, and how do you sharpen that into momentum and actual regular collaboration. So I want to ask you guys, what are your thoughts on how we can help in the accountability groups to facilitate and take what was discussed? I mean, are you guys going to be doing like a retrospective on Orlando when you're in your groups? Like how are you guys going to help capture the energy?
Yeah, I can start with that. So in preparation, the past week or so, been mentioning to all the calls to have, if you do have some type of marketing material, business card, or if you don't, to have something created in advance of in the advance of the event, if that's appropriate for you. And then also your conference follow-up strategies, right? And so when you're on that plane ride home, it's tempting to want to, to just sleep, and that's cool. So sleep. But when you get home from that, break out your notebook and think about the conversations that you had while it's still fresh, and begin that correspondence right away, because much of the enthusiasm of a live event will dissipate. But if you can find those gems that need to be brought back and reanimated in the following week, you can do that by simply carrying a small notebook with you at a conference, and then, keeping the cards and making those introductory emails as you're flying home or as soon as you've landed, so that you've thrown the hats over the fence for the next week, and you don't have to rely on your memory as the days go on. And so I think that ride home or that flight home is a time to, and everybody does it, and everybody gets correspondence, and that's okay, because the lines have been attached, and even if it takes a week or two to follow up to those emails, at least the emails have been sent as you're returning home.
Yeah, I think that's,
Go ahead.
sorry, Kevin.
No.
That's going to be an action item for sure for probably almost everybody who is in my accountability groups who are going to the conference, is to reach out to people, keep the conversation going. I also want to suggest to anybody listening who can't go, or if you want to keep this going in your own community, definitely I encourage people to set up meetups locally. I know the Libertarian Party can be a good conduit to, like, just meet at a bar, meet at a restaurant, meet some place nearby, so that you do have that in-person connection that can continue happening on a smaller scale and also within your community. So you have that to lean on as well. More frequently than these big events like Tom's event. We have Freedom Fest, we have other places that we can plan to go. But I think establishing something in your community, I hope some people are inspired to do that as well.
Yeah, I mean, my group is significantly smaller than Tom's group, but we have several locations that could easily support like a monthly happy hour. And I think I would love to be on the lookout in Orlando for somebody with like the temperament and the desire to spearhead the monthly Tom Woods happy hour in whatever city, because it's just so great to see each other and generate some of those events this week. So
if I may,
yeah,
I have the simplest method. Actually, let me back up. One, there is a broad channel in RocketChat for the in-person event. That is incidentally what it's called. Are you in that channel? Probably not. Right. I may ask Tom again to send this out in the email. Maybe he already did. I'll confirm or deny, and then it's simply a link, or you search through the directory on RocketChat. There's in-person events. So people have used this in the past. It was created during the last event, not by me, but by my members, to meet up at the pool, to go to a restaurant, to find a car share, et cetera, et cetera. That'd be one place to kind of identify who attended and who didn't. You could say, hey, who's that I talked to? The really funny bow tie, et cetera, et cetera. If you struggle to have any other kind of follow-up message, yes, that's correct. There's going to be, everyone wears a bow tie, by the way. That is, it's an unspoken rule, but if you're ill prepared. Two, obviously you can exchange phone numbers. You can exchange email. You can do whatever you want. You can send an email right then. That's fine.
RocketChat's great for that, because you just have to remember their name.
Right. Exactly. I'm not the best at follow-up and making a ton of appointments. My time is pretty scarce. What I will say is at the last event, gained a business mentor who I've been working with for the past 6 months, and he is amazing. Right. I love him to death. I won't mention him by name, but he's been profoundly useful. He has helped me hire more people, be more efficient, make more money. Terrific. You know what he did? He set up an appointment with me, which is literally the only way to actually get in contact with me, because I live and die by the calendar. Right. So he set up an appointment with me right there at the event. How about next Thursday? Cool. And that's easy for me to do. I flip through the phone. Oh, Thursday. Okay, that's fine. 1 p.m. on Thursday. Great. And that has yielded a lot of fruit, hopefully for both of us, but most certainly me. There's nothing stopping you from doing that right then. If you think that you have great synergy with somebody, set up a recurring half-hour meeting each week just to see what you can do together. Maybe it survives 2 meetings, maybe it survives 100. It doesn't matter. I think that's a really great way to build somebody in right into your schedule. Again, most of us have full-time jobs. So
Jeremy, I want to add to that because I had a one-on-one with someone this week, and I encouraged this person to set up a Calendly. And I said, much like people get on my Calendly, and this guy needs to have a lot of exploratory conversations. And I said, you should have a Calendly just like mine, and people can get on your calendar and they can. And so one thing you can do in advance of a conference like this is to have a Calendly set up so that people can do that. You can send them the link right there, and they can find a time as you're in mid conversation. They can schedule something. I think a Calendly is an enormously important tool to have at the conference. Yeah.
And
best business tool the past 5 years.
Yeah. And I don't know if I can win, but I'm at war with the Calendly etiquette problem. Like because no. Don't send me your Calendly. Right. I'll send you my Calendly. Like you find a time on my it's try not to swear. It's ridiculous.
No. It's silly. It does both. It does both. If both parties have a Calendly, it tells you that you have a conflict right there on the side.
Right.
So this is not a problem. And it's technically more polite to send your Calendly.
Right.
It is technically more polite because they pick the time. They have more freedom in that exchange.
Right. But there's this like status game. And I think starting here at the Tom Woods School of Life, we're just gonna end that. We're gonna end that meme. Yeah, and whoever has the calendar, whatever. We're just gonna set up on each other's Calendly. And I think also as more and more people set it up, it's gonna be less of like I have a calendar that you have, like everybody's gonna have one. And it's fine. And just get over it. As you can tell, it's something I deal with quite a bit.
You're so angry.
This is not on the official program, but Kevin will be. I mean, it's a combination of MMA, sumo, but there will be kind of a ritual combat setting in which we're going to determine whose Calendly gets sent to whom.
Well, I wasn't going to bring up sweating in a loincloth, but Jeremy actually is planning to spend some time sweating in a loincloth. You guys can DM him on the RocketChat for the details there, yoga, so that you can sweat in a loincloth with him.
David loves it, and David is the only person who refuses to go to hot yoga.
Well, it's not that I don't want to go to hot yoga. It's that the schedule.
It is that you. David.
He just got done talking about how he left all this space in his calendar, and he's.
I remember that. That's my takeaway from this is, David is really available. I can just tail him around and tell him how good he looks, which is what I did last conference.
Conferences are so social, and about those serendipitous connections. I fear that hot yoga is more of a solitary activity. I want to save for when I'm at home. I want to be open and receptive.
Jeremy is so pissed right now.
You don't know the hot yoga poses. Neither do I. I've done it 100 times. 2, you have to have like a sauna, like a very low level heat sauna in your home that you can do crazy.
There's a place up the street I can go to. Yeah.
Jeremy's trying to connect with you spiritually. Okay. He's trying,
that wasn't the
words, honestly, get in the
I was
way.
Thinking about.
Words get in the way of what Jeremy's trying to establish.
Words get in the way.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, I mean it. In the sense that I really bond over exercise. That is my favorite activity.
I agree.
It is a window to people's soul. When you are exercising, you're expressing your very presence on this earth and fighting against it. You are fighting against complacency and saying that, no, I'm going to establish myself. I'm going to grow. I'm going to strengthen. I'm going to have more presence and competence. And then I'm going to dominate the environments I find myself in because I'm insane, right? This is fundamentally how I think. And that's why I love weightlifting. And when I find other people like that, the quickest way to find ambitious people is at the gym.
I think that's true.
Maybe.
Well, I think Jeremy is going to have to do a little more wooing, but maybe in 6 months.
I'm going to bring roses. I don't know what else this guy needs. I mean,
you're working on me, Jeremy.
I'm complimenting him constantly. I think maybe it's too much. It's too much pull, right? I'm just constantly telling him how good he looks. I'm like, oh, David, I don't know. Did you sleep all right? You know, maybe that's
Jeremy,
Yeah,
maybe
you
you
start
should
negging.
practice. Practice being unavailable.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll work for you.
No, I mean,
Try
as
the other
far as I
way.
know, nobody's tried negging David yet.
Oh, well, let's do that off the recording. Let's do that post recording.
I mean, it's hard to look at this guy's face, even on the internet, and not just want to be closer. I think this is I think we're really getting to the psychoanalytic
All right,
root of some of David's problems here.
Until I say
It's
yes.
it's gonna be hilarious what Liam chooses to leave in.
Yeah.
Hot
yoga.
Oh, well, Liam's gonna have the time of his life.
The whole hot yoga segment on the band, right? When you go to click straight to the hot yoga conversation.
Well, I think you lead with the blooper. You lead with the funniest bit. Liam is very good at this. By the way, I've hired 3 full-time people from Tom's School of Life. Liam is one of them.
That's great.
All of these people, I don't have all the money in the world, so everyone starts with no experience but a dream. Liam has come so far that video editing is a peripheral activity for him. He just made a killer, a certified banger TikTok, Instagram ad. Absolutely gorgeous. And now I'm a video studio. You know what I mean? I can do video editing, but probably worse than him at this point. It is amazing what people can accomplish with opportunity. And by the way, very quickly, and in all seriousness, I derive most of my willingness to give people a chance from Tom. You dive a little bit into Tom's business. Suddenly you see that Tom is, as he mentioned on Michael Malice, the secret supporter of libertarians. I think he said struggling libertarians. He has helped so many people by giving them a chance for mutually beneficial gain.
Love that.
And I really admire that. I'm trying to emulate that, and that's fundamentally something about David's appearance. There was no good segue there. There was no good segue. That's why David and I need to connect and find mutually beneficial gain at the gym, at hot yoga.
Jeremy,
move your lymph around.
Fun to find a mutually beneficial activity that we could do together. I agree.
And with that, Kevin, do you want to wrap us up?
No, I really don't.
It's just too fun, right?
Poor David.
What were those great Paul Ryan photos back in the day of him?
Oh, the P90X. Oh man,
is that what he did?
He did P90X. Yeah,
good stuff out there that came out. Yeah,
great shape.
We're old though, man. Nobody watching this knows Paul Ryan.
Remember that?
At this point. Yeah,
he's got that. Anyway, this was fun. I'm glad that we got to this place. I appreciate you guys. And really, no BS, really excited for this weekend. It's going to be great to see everybody and to meet all of your friends that you've met at the school, and really proud of what you guys have built, and thanks for being here. So we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye.